Alright. Welcome. We're gonna listen to more, react to more of the Patrician TV stuff for now, and I wanna play more Dark and Darker afterwards for a bit. So they updated it.
There is
Hopefully
a
it runs
chance
a
of
bit
an
smoother.
NPC hiring thugs to teach you a lesson. This can be a particularly harrowing encounter in the early game, but it has some amusing implications. Regardless of how clandestine you are, hired thugs can be sent. On the flip side, no matter how frequently I would blatantly steal from NPCs, they would not hire thugs to go after me.
Yeah.
Another thing is that sometimes
They
thugs will
wouldn't.
be hired by somebody who is dead. One of the vampires you killed during the Dawnguard raid on Castle Valkalhar hired thugs to teach me a lesson because technically they were still alive when I killed their friend, even if they died moments later from a crossbow bolt to the heart. The best part, however, is that there is a random event where the Dark Brotherhood will send an assassin to kill you.
And the
This is
assassins
not
are
a
tough to
radiant
go
event,
against.
rather it
Like,
is a random
really
event.
difficult for no
that
reason.
are, we call radiant, really for random.
Random events were introduced in Fallout 3. You enter an area and the game rolls a dice to determine what happens. Do it once and maybe you encounter a dog fighting a pack of wolves. Do it again and maybe you encounter a skirmish or a rogue
When it's
action act, or
auto,
some
it just
guy who
randomly
runs up to you and
picks
gives you
off.
an item and tells you not to snitch on him. To put this in D&D terms, this is comparable to random event tables some dungeon masters use, where the hired thugs are a response to an action in the world. These are truly random.
They are
For the longest time, I thought the
super
Dark
random.
Brotherhood assassination attempts were actually radiantly generated, as in they were a response to something I had done, and I found it frustrating that you aren't really given any clues as to who hired the assassin to kill you like you are with the thugs. But in reality, nobody hired the Dark Brotherhood. It is a random event. This is a big part of the reason why Skyrim is a deceptively difficult game to review, because casual analysis can make it difficult to determine what is scripted, what is radiant, and what is
You
random.
just have to constantly play the game to figure it out, and also read the files.
Alham a lesson. Yes, this is
My
a
daughter just won't calm down. What? Well, why did you remove your bottle from your mouth? So tired, like. On you, Binky, because you're just not calming yourself. Yes, man. Been like this for the past few days. Your teeth must hurt. I get it, but come on. Come on. Calm down. Bed. You're fine. Stop it. You're fine. You're fine. Hey, you're fine. Come on. Maybe this one. You can chew on that one. Want out of this? That's the problem, because it doesn't fit you. Fine. You're fine. Your tummy hurt? Tummy hurt? Oh, yeah. Come on. Hey, shh. It's okay. Calm down. Fine. Come on. I'm sorry, guys. This is too sad. Fuck. You're fine. Stop. You're okay. Go to bed. He just needs to go back to bed. We woke up too early because my wife had work at 4. She's just so fucking tired but won't let herself go to bed.
Identical to the hired thug event, and I have to wonder why Skyrim didn't incorporate that element into the faction. Maybe instead of generic hired thugs, companions are sent to teach the player a lesson, which could also serve as a way to invite the player to the faction after you defeat them and they surrender.
Yeah,
and
they
then
could
when
do
you
that.
join the companions, you could
That
replace
will
the
work
companion
well.
thugs with the generic hired thugs. The funny part is that this quest has a pool of like 400 NPCs, encompassing most of Skyrim's civilian population, but you have to have visited their hold prior to getting the quest. There's also a bunch of bugs tied to this. If the person permanently resides in a place you have to trespass to reach, you will not be given the correct dialogue and the questline will softlock.
That's annoying.
Sometimes, if the target dies, even when the player is not involved, the quest will softlock. Some targets will be NPCs who leave Skyrim as part of their quest. The quest is clearly lacking some sanity checking. The player should probably be given the option to forfeit jobs so as to not end up with a quest that cannot be completed.
I mean, they let you do that in the Thieves Guild, which is nice. Kind of dumb that you can't do it in the Companions or like any other guild. Like, you can't forfeit jobs besides the Thieves Guild. I don't understand why you can't just be like, the job's not working out, or like I can't access it, or the NPC's dead because I killed the NPC. Like, the game should be able to read that, or like give you an option to quit jobs, or even quit quests that aren't like major storyline quests or like major side quests that you can do, but like all the miscellaneous quests and stuff that there's a lot of miscellaneous quests that lead into bigger quests. But you can drop quests that don't lead into bigger quests, or like the Dark Brotherhood Forever quest. You should be able forfeit that. I don't know if you can. I haven't done the Dark Brotherhood stuff in a long time. It would make sense that you could quit it because it's all generated characters. There's like no like actual NPCs at doing the Dark Brotherhood Forever. It's just a bunch of random NPC characters that you can kill. But I don't know.
Are also a lot of NPCs who probably should not be on the list of potential targets. The thing is, all of the companions' Radiant quests have bugs that can potentially softlock the game, depending on a variety of factors. Items you're sent to rescue end up being put in inaccessible inventories. Locations you're sent to clear might point you to corpses if you already did the dungeon. NPCs you're sent to help may refuse to talk to you if you kill an animal in their house and then talk to them while trespassing. The Thieves Guild also has a couple uncompletable quests, for instance, stealing an item from a house that gets destroyed by another quest, but it also provides the option to forfeit those contracts. This is a nasty mix of being forced to do these quests, but having the chance of those quests bugging and softlocking the entire faction for you. Which is actually fine, as the Companions is not only the worst faction in Skyrim, but probably the worst faction in all of the Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah, it's not a good faction at all.
Morrowind and Oblivion may have both started their fighters factions with a rat quest,
It's
but Skyrim
the only
its
way to
fighters
become a
faction
werewolf
with infinite
in
rat quests.
Skyrim 2, which is kind
After
of
doing
dumb.
your Radiant quest, you will be locked out of doing any more and instead sent on a quest to reclaim a fragment of Wuthrad with Farkas. He will replace whatever hireling we have with us without performing any of their functions, which is annoying. I get that they are literally called companions, but the main reason I have hirelings is to pick up skill books, and, well, Farkas won't pick up this copy of the Battle of Sancre Tor for me. This is our trial, because we technically aren't a full companion yet despite being sent out to do business in the world representing them. This starts as a Draugr crypt, which we are sent to as a scholar recently informed the companions of the fragment's location here. But it's pretty apparent there has been some recent excavation work, and it ends up being an ambush. We're trapped in a small room, and before Farkas can get us out, he's surrounded by enemies, with his back up against the wall.
Killing you will make for an excellent story.
Yeah, then he turns into a
He
werewolf.
then transforms into a werewolf, wiping the enemies out before leaving the room and opening the gate. First off, it's a bit weird that the enemies respect the anime rule of allowing...
Yeah, allowing him to transform. It's so dumb that they don't like try to stop him. Like that there isn't like a sequence where they start attacking him while he's transforming, and like he's like blocking their attacks while transforming. Like it could have been super cool if like they one dude swinging a sword and Farkas focuses the transformation on one arm and like shears off that arm that's swinging the sword at him, and another one comes in from the side and he transforms a leg, like fully transformed, and kicks that one away while the other one finishes, and then like as like the one in front of him starts to go forward, he blocks a strike with his hand, like all his transformed hand, like blocking it just at the wrist of the like downward action, and then his head transforms and just like chews off the head of one of the silver hands. Like they could have made it so cool and cinematic. Granted, like probably at the time Skyrim's release, like in 2011, was it 2011? Yeah, 2011. They couldn't, like the engine couldn't like function for it. Like the animation of transforming into either the werewolf or your vampire form is so long and tedious. Like, and a lot of times it can get you killed because like it's supposed to be an edge in battle, but how is it supposed to be an edge if you can't even pop it off in time? Like it just doesn't make sense. What fuck. Yeah, no. It's just I'm hoping that they make it more functional. Like if they had transformations in Elder Scrolls 6 of vampire or werewolf or anything like that, to make it a lot more functional. What I'm really hoping for is the house building and stuff. I'm hoping that they have it a lot better in terms of like having to plow land. Either they do the plow land, or you can just build a house somewhere in wherever location they pick for the next release, Elder Scrolls release. I'm just waiting for Elder Scrolls 6. That's gonna be my jam. That's all I'm gonna be streaming. That's all I'm gonna be playing. Honestly, it's gonna be wild.
Farkas to complete his transformation before attacking. Realistically, Farkas's transformation should look a bit more like this. Hate to spoil things, but these guys are the Silver Hand, who are an order of professional werewolf hunters. They seeded the rumor of the fragment of Wuthrad being here in order to lure companions here to ambush us.
This is like basic bandits. It's so dumb. They couldn't have like their own specific armor and stuff.
He will become harder to kill.
Like their own order of armor.
There are dozens of these guys here, yet for some reason they didn't all come pouring out the second the gate opened, lining the back wall with archers just to mow Farkas down, Boromir style. Second, while it's a nice detail that the Silver Hand uses expensive silver weapons, you know what might be a more prudent financial decision? Armor.
Yeah.
Most of these guys, even at high levels, are wearing armor fashioned from fur scraps.
Yeah,
as well
they're
equipped as
essentially
bandits,
just
despite being an
reskin
order of people who
bandits.
hunt werewolves. Werewolf claws are good at rending flesh, not so good against armor. It seems like silver swords should have been issued to the officers, and then the money saved from buying everyone's silver weaponry could be spent giving more people armor.
Yeah,
Because
it
it's not
should
even
be.
like silver weapons are necessary to kill werewolves in Elder Scrolls. They'll die to steel, they just die to silver a little bit faster.
Which
It's
is
just a
true.
funny detail. I couldn't stop thinking about how absurd it was that every single member of the Silver Hand has a signature silver weapon, but a minority actually possess any kind of armor that would protect them from slashing damage.
Yeah,
Third,
they
I
should
find
have
that, like,
they really should just have their own order armor, like kind of like the Dark Brotherhood, or and like the companions should have their own armor as well. They don't really have their own armor. They all just wear like normal iron and steel armor, Nordic armor like variants. Like they should have their own armor that has like a logo on it, a companion logo. Um, they should have, and then the Silver Hand should have their own armor. Or it would make more sense for transformation's sake that the companions wear like furs instead. Like they wear like hardly any armor, like easy armor that they can like shake off during the transformation. So it doesn't really, there's no explanation for the transformation like keeping your armor like on, like it, like your form just takes over your armor, and like you're essentially just a player character inside of a fursuit. Like your armor should break, or like you have to remove your armor to actually transform, or you have to wear fur to transform, like fur armor, or just regular clothing to transform. There should be limitations to transforming. So there's like a pro and con to being a werewolf. Compared, like there's already pros and cons with like status effects, passive like effects that are always happening, kind of like how the vampires are weak to sun, and if you don't feed often your powers get stronger. There should be shit like that, but like there should be limitations to how you can transform. Like you can transform once a day, which is dumb. You should be able to transform consistently. The whole point of being a werewolf is for that edge in battle, and only being able to use it once per day is kind of dumb. Or they can make it where like you can transform as many times as you want, but it has to be nighttime. So you kind of become more, you have more reasons to play during the night than Skyrim. Or like there's just a lot of things they could have done, like limitations, or just to revamp the whole system of being a vampire or a werewolf. Like they didn't really do anything about it. And also prior to the Dawnguard DLC, vampires sucked ass. To become a vampire sucked ass because there was no transformation, there was nothing. All you could do was suck blood and have vampiric spells, which should be spells you can just get in general, because it should be more of a power than it is like, oh, you can have like a drain life spell and a drain essence spell or whatever, but you only get that at the moment you become a vampire. Why can't you just learn that spell, and it could be like a form of blood magic or something like that, like or like forbidden arts of restoration magic is where the vampires get their magic. Like you have to learn forbidden restoration magic, which is all like life steal and stuff like that. Instead of giving life, you take life, and to do that you need there should be like a skill line of the restoration tree that is for like forbidden techniques, for like draining life and stuff like that. You get more life per drain. Drain spells cost less magicka, they do more damage, you drain more life, or you heal more from draining life than you do casting regular restoration spells. Like there's pro and cons to each perk in a perk tree, compared to like your armor might weigh nothing but and make no sound, but you have you take your armor rating is lowered by a percentage because of this perk, because the way you make it, the way your armor weighs nothing and doesn't have doesn't make as much sound as you use like either more like soft materials, or like you instead of having a dense layer of steel, you have like a thinner layer of steel in your armor, which could also make it to where like you can also have crafting implications where crafting that specific armor when you have that skill acquired costs less materials because you're using less materials to make stronger armor type stuff. Just so you can like there should be a lot. The perk system should really be revamped. They should really have like pros and cons to certain perks. Like granted, you should be getting stronger, but based on your playstyle, there should be detriments. Like you shouldn't become an all-powerful god with only benefits to like your skills. Like granted, you are like getting better at your skill, but because you're getting better at that one specific skill, your other skills should suffer, or like there should be some consequences to like focusing on a path. Like if you have perks in your heavy armor tree, any perks in your light armor tree isn't going to be as functional because your heavy armor is like maxed out. Or like if you have any light armor on while you're like if you have like each perk into heavy perk point into heavy armor lowers your the usability of light armor to where it's like for certain you shouldn't be switching over to light armor or things like that. And then the legendary system. What? The legendary system would also function as a way to reset your perks so you can go into different trees and have a feeling of like, oh, okay, I want to try this playstyle. I'm gonna remove all the perks out of this perk tree so you get all your perk points back from when you legendary a skill, and be like, all right, I'm gonna start wearing light armor, and then vice versa. The more light armor perk points you have, the less valid wearing heavy armor, and the more detrimental wearing heavy armor is. Like it weighs more, or like it slows you down more, or your armor rating suffers because you don't know how to properly wear heavy armor, so your rating is like slashed by a percentage. I hear you. You don't need to screech at me. What's the matter? You okay? Play with your doll. Yeah. Hi. Really don't like how she's starting to get into the screaming stage. When her brother was like that, it was so bad.
Players' reactions to be equally funny. It goes beyond base naivete into the realm of stupidity. Even if you have done Hircine's quest that primarily involves a werewolf, the player character will not recognize the form, nor show an appropriate level of concern. A man, practically a stranger to us, just turned into a giant monster and murdered 4 people.
Yeah, there should be
Farkas
some
isn't even
concern
winded
though
by
from the player
encounter.
character.
These
Like,
guys did not stand a chance, and we just respond with, "What was that?" And then meekly follow it up with, "You're gonna turn me into a werewolf?" Fourth, why is there actually a fragment of Wuthred here? I know Wuthred is important to the companions, but it's not like they would actually know if it was here or not. We were baited here by a scholar, but they could have just as easily pointed us at an already cleared out Draugr.
they could have.
One much easier to stage ambushes.
Like, it would
in.
make more sense
If the
for
Silver Hands knew the
the Iron
fragment was
Hand to
here,
do
why
it like
didn't
that
they
compared
claim it
to
first?
I would imagine that to be a
anything
pretty
else.
big bargaining chip to possess.
And if the companions already knew it was here, why didn't they try to excavate the site to claim it sooner? Wait, you aren't going to answer any of these questions, are you?
The rest of the dungeon is a mix of Draugr enemies and Silver Hand, and ends with a fun little gauntlet where you fight wave after wave of Draugr.
Honestly, a lot of these Draugr dungeons would be more fun if they ended with fighting a bunch of Draugr instead of fighting a single beefcake Draugr. Also, there's an alluring word wall that teaches you a word of the Fire Breath shout in case you forgot about the main quest. Our reward is a Skyforged steel weapon, which is actually really strong.
There's so many aspects of like the side content having implications of it being like they'll be like, oh, complete this dungeon for the Draugr crypt. I mean, 90% of side content is like, oh, go clear the Draugr crypt, and then there's a word wall, and you're doing like a quest for the Dark Brotherhood, and you're like, what the fuck, why is there a word wall here? Why am I even in a Draugr crypt for a Dark Brotherhood quest anyways? You're fine. I can already tell you don't be like your brother whining over everything. I mean, granted you are a child, but come on. What do you want? You're not really